Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. So I am covering today the election night preview for Tuesday's election nights. I previously did a video, you may have seen it already, it may not be out yet, but I did do a video on the state of Maine and also North Dakota's Congressional District as well, couldn't forget that. But mainly I covered the state of Maine and all of its election previews in that state. Today's video, I am doing it on the state of Nevada and its upcoming primaries as well. There's a lot less certainty or uncertainty, I would say, in Nevada than in Maine, but still I wanted to cover it and just give you an up-to-date look on what's going on. So Nevada does have more, I would say, elections going on, more competitive primaries going on at the top of the ticket than Maine does. Nevada has a handful of congressional districts. It has the governor and primaries for both Republican and Democrats. It has lieutenant governor and attorney general and secretary of state as well. I'm not going to delve in too much on the lieutenant governor and attorney general and secretary of state races, as I've not done as much of a deep delve into those races, but I will talk about the races in Nevada top down here and what 2 cents I can give at this current point in time. So in this video, we're actually going to start with the congressional map, where we're going to start in Nevada, and we're going to look at the current map on the consensus ranking, which has the 2nd district listed as safe for the Republicans, the 4th district listed as likely for the Democrats, the 1st district listed as likely Democrat, and the 3rd district is listed as lean for the Democrat. So on this map, based on the current consensus House rankings of several top political prediction sites like Sablo Crystal Ball, Cook Political Report, Inside Elections, they view 3 out of the 4 seats here as either safe or likely for the Democrats and the Republicans. The 3rd district is the only one that's really considered to be competitive. So keep that in mind as we go into this year. The 1st district, U.S. Representative Dina Titus is facing a primary challenge, but she should win that rather handedly. The 2nd district is a open race on the Democratic side. Gamaliel Enriquez, Gerald Gorman, John Kearns, Joshua Herbert, Kathy Durham, Mark Joel, Matthew Fonkin, Morgan Wadsworth, Robert Kidd, Samuel White, and Teresa Benitez Thompson, all running in this primary to be the Democratic candidate in this now open race. Typically, the Republican Mark Amodei, the U.S. representative, would run, but he is retiring, so it is an open race. Though, again, it's pretty unlikely that whichever Democrat emerges here is going to win in the general election. I'd still say the Republicans are pretty heavily favored there, but again, never say never, but I think Republicans have that race. In the 3rd district, Representative Susie Lee in the other Clark County district here, along with this one, is running against Brandon West and James Lally, though again, she should win probably pretty handily in that primary. In the 1st district, for the Republicans, you have 5 candidates running in Carrie Buck, James Blockway, Mary Arnold, Michael Boris, and Rick Saga. And for this race, again, it's more likely to be likely Democrat, but the Republicans are running to advance her. I do believe in Nevada election law, you don't have to break a certain percent threshold, just whoever gets the most votes advances to the general. So unlike Maine, which utilizes ranked choice voting, or South Carolina coming up, which I think you do have to break, is it 50% to avoid the runoff? I think it is, or maybe 35%. I think it's 50. Nevada, just whoever gets the most votes wins. So the 1st district has a competitive primary. The 2nd district has a really competitive primary as well, because this race, essentially, whichever Republican wins will probably end up being the next U.S. representative. So a lot of candidates running in this race: Andrea Lowe, Bruce Grego, David Flippo, Fred Simon, George Forbush, James Settlemeyer, Jennifer Billat, Jerry Jolson, Jesse Watts, Michael Smith, Rick Shepard, Sherman Tuwaliski, and Thomas Doyle. So a lot of candidates are running in this race here. Let me take a quick look at the Nevada House elections as a whole, as we can get more information on the candidates. I do believe President Trump has made an endorsement in the 2nd primary here. He has endorsed David Flippo as the Republican candidate, so David Flippo very likely to win this primary. Let me, while we're doing this, check the 1st district as well. I don't know if Trump has made an endorsement yet for the Republican candidate. I'm not sure. Oh, that's on the District 1. I'm sorry. That was District 2. I'm looking for the Republican. Here we go. Carrie Buck has gotten the endorsement of President Trump in the 1st district. So David Flippo is the likely candidate in the 2nd district based on the Trump endorsement. And then in the 1st district, Carrie Buck has the endorsement of President Trump in that one. In the 3rd district, again, it's probably the more competitive one at the general election level. There are 4 Republicans running in Ari Nagy, Jeffrey Gunter, Martin O'Donnell, and Tara Anderson. Martin O'Donnell, I know for a fact, does have the endorsement of President Trump. He is also, I just want to get the right one up here. Here we go. He has the endorsement of President Trump and Richard Hudson as well. Martin O'Donnell, I don't know if this is kind of a niche thing that I know. I don't know if anyone watching the video will know, but he is a composer. He was also a candidate for this race in 2024. If you ever played the Halo video games, Martin O'Donnell was the, I believe, one of the composers or main composers for that video game for the Halo series. So that's maybe where you know the name from. So that was an interesting thing. I've learned this year in covering these races that Alex Bregman, the baseball player's father, ran for governor in New Mexico, and the Halo video game composer is running for Congress in Nevada. So very interesting things going on in candidate filings here. That's the 3rd district. Again, lean Democrat, but Martin O'Donnell, the endorsement of President Trump, very likely to be the candidate there. And then in House District 4, which is, again, more of a likely or a solid Democratic district, 3 Republicans are running: Anthony Snowden, Cody Whipple, and Rhonda Kennedy. Let's see if President Trump has made an endorsement in this race. He has not made an endorsement in this race. David Filippo was running in this race. He dropped out, running for the 2nd district, obviously more electorally favorable. So the lack of a Trump endorsement here may be an indicator. Again, not very likely this is going to go. Likely Democrat across the board for that one. The 3rd district as well, lean Democrat for most. The 2nd district we can look at as well, safe to likely Republican. And then in the 1st district, we can look at it likely to lean Democrat depending on the ranking that you're looking at. We can look at the election results as well in the state of Nevada from 2024. We showed you the rankings. We can show you the results as well. Amoti won the 2nd district by 19 points in 2024. Horsford won the 4th district by 8 points. 3rd district went for Lee by 2.7. And Titus won the 1st district by 7.5. Now, in 2022, in the midterm election, it was more competitive across the board here. Amoti won it by 22 points. Horsford won it by 4.8% in that race. Lee won by 4 points, so her results actually went down from 2022 to 2024, but the lean rating still stands. And Titus won by 5.6% in 2020. And then the prior map before that, same composition, 1 Republican, 3 Democrats, but obviously on a different map there. So those are the House races in the state of Nevada. I think the one that probably we've mostly all come here to talk about is the governor's race. We know it's going to be very competitive at the general election level. And in terms of the primary, I would say it's not going to be too competitive. We pretty much know who the candidates are going to be. There are 6 Democrats running, but Aaron Ford, the Attorney General of the state of Nevada, is certainly the heavy favorite to win this race and advance to the general election here. Almost 100% certain that is going to be the case here. The only poll from Change Research from back in December showed him leading by like 40 points, so we know that'll be the case. We also know on the Republican side, the Republican Governor Joe Lombardo is running. There is, I do believe, 7 total candidates in the race, but as the incumbent governor who holds pretty strong approval ratings, he should win and advance to the general election. Also, again, without really any trouble leading. The only poll from March shows him leading at 60%. No other candidate comes close to matching him. Now for the general election, it's going to be one of the closest in the entire country. Currently in favor of Lombardo from 3 out of the 4 rankings, but 2 of them have it tilt Republican, which would be that 1% or under margin. Sabra Crystal Ball has it lean Republican. Cook Politico has it as a toss-up. And the polling data for Lombardo versus Ford, the average from Race to the White House and Real Clear Politics, shows Lombardo up by 2.6 and 0.5, leading to an average of Lombardo plus 1.5%, with still 19.5% undecided. So definitely going to be a close race. In terms of the governor results, we can look at from 2022. Lombardo did win this race from the Democrat Governor Sisolak, winning by 1.5% in a very close race as well. Nevada also, I believe there will be third-party candidates on the ballot. It also has that option that I don't know if any other state does, where it's a none of these candidates option. It's actually in the past both helped and hurt, depending on the candidate. For instance, in 2022, Lombardo got 1.5% lead or win. He got 48.8. Sisolak got 47.3. 1.46% voted for none of these candidates. It's almost the exact margin of what the election result ended up being there. In the Senate race in 2024, for instance, Jackie Rosen got 47.9%, Sam Brown got about 46.2%, so a margin of victory of 1.6%. None of these candidates got 3% of the vote. So the none of these candidates option, really, it's definitely a vote splitter. It definitely does not, there's no candidate, none of these candidates, but it's definitely a vote splitter, and it can play a very big role in a very close race, which Nevada seems to be getting a lot more of recently. A lot of competitive races in both the Senate, governor, and even the presidential level, where President Trump won the state by 3 points in 2024. So Nevada governor race, certainly Aaron Ford, Joe Lombardo will be the general election candidates, but that's a very, very important one to talk about as well. In terms of the general elections that we could talk about, we already did the House race. I think the map, the way it currently is on the consensus ranking, is correct. I think we'll see the Republicans win the 2nd district by over 15 points. I think the 4th district with Stephen Horsford and the 1st district with Deanna Titus will both go for the Democrat by over 5 points, but under 15, putting it as likely. The 3rd district, I think, has the chance to go over 5 points, but it did get closer in 2024, as the results did show, where Lee won it by 2.7 in 2024. 2022, she won it by 4 points. It's possible it could exceed 5, but I think it'll be a close enough race where we're going to see it stay as lean for the Democrats. There's no Senate race up in Nevada in 2026, but there is a governor's race. And again, Maine is from the other video I just did, but in Nevada, definitely, just to clear things up here, it's in my toss-up of my handful, or maybe more than a handful now, of states I'd consider a toss-up, which toss-up for me in my rankings is anything I have a 5% margin of victory or under. I currently have as a toss-up, and then from there, I go in with either lean Democrat or lean Republicans based on the way I currently think the race is leaning. So that's why you'll have safe rankings, likely rankings on my map. I'll show you which states are the toss-ups. Then I'll go in with the lean ratings. For Nevada right now, I definitely think it is a toss-up, but I do agree with the polls. I think Joe Lombardo is a slight favorite in Nevada, putting it as lean Republican. I think, again, we may be looking at right around that 2 to 2.5 point win for Joe Lombardo, similar to what the polls are saying. I think that it's an election environment that's better for the Democrats. Lombardo is now the incumbent. That does give him an added advantage, though the state of the economy and President Trump's approval ratings are certainly not giving him any favor in the state of Nevada. The last Republican governor, Brian Sandoval, was handily reelected. When he ran for reelection, I don't think Lombardo is going to do as well as Sandoval did, but I think he may do just enough to do well enough to get reelected by about 2 to 2.5% is where I currently have the race listed as of today. That's pretty much all I have for you from those races in the state of Nevada. There is other races like the lieutenant governor race. There's no, I believe, Republican contested primaries for the lieutenant governor. The Republican is going to be nominated again. 3 Democrats are running in Bridget Schneider, Courtney Burke, and Sandra Draghi. I think we can probably take the contested off and just show you also who they are. I don't know if it has it on here. It may not actually even have it on here for the lieutenant governor for the Republicans, but that's okay. It's probably going to be tied to what the governor's race ends up being, so a very close race that Republicans may win or Democrats may win. We'll have to wait and see there. Attorney General, going to be very close to succeed Aaron Ford, Nicole Cannizzaro, and Zach Koenig on the Democratic side. On the Republican side, Adriana Freilich and Danny Tarkanian. Interesting to see how this one goes. I don't believe there's been an endorsement in this race. Not totally sure on that. I know President Trump's endorsed Danny Tarkanian in the past when he ran for House. I believe it was in 2018 and maybe even in 2020 as well. President Trump pushed him out of the Senate race against Dean Heller, I remember back in 2018, to run for House in the 3rd district, I do believe. So this could be something interesting to keep an eye on in the Attorney General primary as well. And then Secretary of State. There are a handful of Republicans running in James Marchant, Sharon Angle, Shirley Falkins Roberts, and Sakura Keenan as well. So again, I haven't done as much research into those races. I don't want to give any definitive statements per se because I haven't done as much info on it, but those races could be interesting to look at as well, especially if you're from the state of Nevada and you want more info on those. I certainly recommend going to look at that. So that's all I have for you in today's video on the state of Nevada and its primary. Again, I had Maine's primary. I did those. This should be coming out after Maine's primary as already out on my channel. So if you want to go check that out, you can go check that out on my channel as well. I'll have that linked at the end of this video. And stay tuned as we have one more state to cover, the state of South Carolina, where there are a lot of primaries underway for Senate, Governor, Attorney General, Secretary of State, and U.S. House as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that all goes. So stay tuned for South Carolina. For now, that is going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to hit like and subscribe. It really does help me and my channel out, so I'd really appreciate if you will do that. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in a future video.